Stretching 120 miles south and west of the U.S. mainland, the Florida Keys has long been one of the country's most popular tourist destinations. Blue waters, tropical temperatures, and a casual lifestyle attract people nearly year-round. But for all of its attributes, the Keys can be a challenging place to live during Atlantic hurricane season. And that was the case on September 10th, 2017, when Hurricane Irma landed a direct hit, literally ripping the Keys to shreds.
We heard the story about this hurricane that was coming named Irma, but a lot of the projections said that it was going to turn before it got to us. Well, come Saturday, it was found out that it wasn't turning, and it was going to hit us. It was going to be almost a direct hit.
That old adage of, it sounds like a freight train. Well, it sounded like a freight train, but the real, when it was hitting the hardest, it sounded like thunder or a jet breaking the sonic boom.
The wind, it just blows. It blows, it's just a constant. It's not like a blustery day. It's a steady, hard driving wind, and you can't even imagine, you know, and the sound doesn't stop.
And once the eye came over, we ran to the top floor of the house where we could see through our storm shutters and watch the water as it went in the bottom floor. And that's a bad feeling.
You can prepare, but you don't know the extent of what it's going to be, and you never know how bad you're going to get hit.
It was a lot more widespread throughout the Keys. It's not just like a one little spot area that it hit. It hit from Key West all the way up past Grassy Key.
I don't think anybody expected to get hit this hard by this storm.
Nobody was untouched. Somehow, some way, everybody got touched by the storm.
Irma caused widespread destruction throughout the Keys. Power lines were down, roads were blocked with trees and debris. Tens of thousands of homes were uninhabitable. Many members of NALC Branch 818 suffered heavy losses.
In our branch 818, at least 14 carriers lost their homes. Numerous had mold all through their houses. And it affected us because, you know, you still gotta come to work, do your job, you don't have a place to live.
A couple of people that I work with lost their entire homes, or they're living in trailers or tents.
Mike Cole is one of those living in a FEMA trailer while he rebuilds. His home took a direct hit.
Substantial, had about 2.5 feet rolling water through the bottom, but it peeled the roof up on the edge, drove the water in.
Alex Figueroa was forced out of his home and lived with family members for several months.
There's a hotel behind my apartment, and their roof came off, hit the top of my roof, and then the wind just peeled the rest of the roof off, which led to water damage. So I had a lot of water get inside, and then mold and all that by the time we got back.
Phil Jones lost his roof, and his home sustained major water damage. He's been living with his son ever since.
Like my house, I couldn't live in. I had to, and actually my car went underwater too, so I had to borrow a vehicle from my son to get to work.
I've seen a bunch of storms. I've been down here over 20 years. This was one of the worst that affected not only a lot of people, it affected a lot of carriers. And I don't think the postal system, the management, was aware of how much it affected us.
Although her home sustained major damage, Kim Cabrera considers herself lucky compared to many others.
I'm just happy to have what we have. We can rebuild. A lot of people have to rebuild from the bottom up, and we just need a new roof and a few other items and we'll be okay. So I'm very blessed in that regard.
With no power, no water, and debris blocking most of the roads, residents of the Keys were not allowed to return. But despite this, management ordered the carriers back to work.
They were actually telling us we had to come back before the evacuation order was lifted, and they expected us back to be ready to start delivering mail again. There was really no way to deliver mail yet, but that's what they expected us to do. So.
Their main worry was just, you know, getting the mail out, coming back, you know, delivering parcels. They even wanted us to come back before we weren't even allowed to get back into Key West, which a lot of the locals, you know, why would you deliver mail if they're not even allowed back?
And the problem is post office itself had a foot of water in it. So not only could they not get back in, but we didn't have a building to even work out of.
We couldn't work out of our office. The office had gotten flooded and they emptied it out. So we had some tents in the back where we started doing all the work out of.
First thing I did when I got to the post office, it was call OSHA and say, hey, you know, they're trying to make employees report and we don't even have a building, we don't have restrooms, we don't have running water, we don't have electricity. It's crazy to me that they would even attempt something like that.
So they weren't allowing, you know, the residents to come back. And they wanted us to come back early and work, which there's nobody to deliver packages or mail to.
There wasn't really much mail that could be delivered. Most of the people had no mailboxes or houses to deliver to, so.
I don't even have a mailbox, you know. I don't even know where my mailbox is, probably in Cuba by now, or Texas, or who knows where, but.
They didn't take into consideration that carriers were coming back with no houses. There was no running water, the bathrooms, nothing was working. The roads were all covered with debris. There's roofs all over the place on the streets, and they were making carriers go out and deliver. They didn't think of safety at all.
Compounding the misery created by Hurricane Irma is the fact that the Postal Service has been short-handed in the Florida Keys for a long time.
We're short-handed because in the Keys, the cost of living is so high. You know, people come in for 6 months or a year and they leave, they transfer out. We have huge parcel routes that we have no stores down here, so everybody's ordering. And you know, some people, they just can't take, you know, letter carrier. The packages are heavy.
I mean, we're still short-handed. It's still, you know, plenty to do. You know, we're splitting routes half pieces. So, not much sleep.
We usually have 14 CCAs. We're down to 6 right now. And then we have numerous carriers that are out on workman's comp because they've been getting hurt because of so many hours we're working. And then the stress, the anxiety, it's taking its toll on everybody.
Rebuilding homes and lives is a difficult process, but as they always have, NALC members throughout the nation did what they could to assist their Florida brothers and sisters.
The NALC, they were very supportive. We got uniforms all over the place come in.
All the supplies people sent down here were really helpful for me. I had all kinds of paper goods, extra water, all types of MREs, uniforms I desperately needed because most of my stuff washed out.
They sent a lot of supplies down. They came in on the trucks for, you know, water, food, clothes, and they were pretty helpful that way. It was nice to see, you know, it really made us feel good.
So it was nice to know that our union family is all over.
Carriers from all over the country were donating items to the carriers here at Branch 818 and the branches up the Keys. So hats off to you guys. We really appreciate you. Thank you for everything you did for us. Heartfelt, heartfelt.
Nearly a year after Irma, recovery continues in the Keys. And despite the stress, residents carry on, knowing that the next hurricane season is just around the corner.
Little by little, people were getting back to normal. You know, I mean, like we say, this is the new normal, and it's different. You don't look at a hurricane the same way after going through something like that.
You know, I was grateful to come back to work and be able to do my job, know that I was going to get a paycheck. My customers were worried about me.
And does his best James Dean.
Long as life goes on, long after the thrill
Of living is gone.
They weren't worried about their mail. They were worried about their carriers. But once we got back, it provided to them a sense of, you know, hey, they're back, everything's good. The island's back to normal. We're getting our deliveries, and that's important.
My house is still there, structurally strong. It was missing in the inside parts. That was it. But it's going to come out better and nicer than ever before. It's just going to take a while.
You know, it's an everyday process. We got to get through it first. You know, first of all, you got to deal with it. You got to say, wow, what just hit us? And then you got to take a deep breath and go, okay, we're going to rebuild. And then step by step, it starts to happen.
You have to redo your house. It's unfortunate, it's a bump in the road, but you know, to me it's a part of life, and it's just stuff. So as long as everybody's safe and healthy and happy, then we can rebuild houses and get our lives back together.
Yeah, we all work together. You know, time of crisis pulls you together. And it sure did pull us together. We're still all together, but we're getting tired. We're tired.